regarding the speech objectives of Toastmaster Hari Prasad's speech. Toastmaster Hari Prasad, Highway to Humanity. Highway to Humanity, Toastmaster Harishi Prasad.
How many of you here have read the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost? That poem depicts that life has its very own set of highs and lows. That you choose two different paths converging into one destination. And I solely believe that experiences matter more than destinations. So I chose the path which had the most challenges. Good morning to one and all present here. I am standing before you not only as a first year student in VLSI Design and Technology, not only as a Toastmaster in X-Audio VIT, but as a leader. And since the theme of the day is becoming the better you, let me explain my journey of how I became a better self. So let me take you guys on a journey. Back in first grade, I was raised as an academic prodigy. In a family of prodigies, I was raised as a prodigy who scored straight hundreds in all my subjects. But there was something I did not excel in, and that is sports. Sports was something which did not work quite well for me because I was mocked for not playing properly, not doing things properly. And it kind of, the immature self back then did not encourage it because I did not learn how to acknowledge mistakes as experiences, but took mistakes as failures, which broke my mental and which led me to a series of failures as well. But now, being the mature self I am, I realize that failures are experiences and I get to learn from them. Which takes me back to 8th grade, where I was raised as a district level basketball player. I've learned a lot from my experience there, where I got to play a lot of matches for my district level, and I got to win a lot of matches, shoot a lot of 3-pointers, and those are all moments I've cherished. But there were moments where I was at my lowest, where I still regretted choosing this path, and I still did not back down. COVID began. That was the time I felt like I've lost all my promises. I've lost my ability to play. I've lost my ability to study. I've lost my ability to concentrate. I've completely lost myself. What I did was rethink my journey yet one more time. But I could choose the easy way out, just focus on one thing and just clear my entire life. That would be quite boring, wouldn't it? I did not do that. I chose the path which had the most obstacles, but had the benefit of working on myself completely. Such an extraordinary path, but it had a lot of high risks. I still took it because I believe experiences shape you better than the destination you achieve. My path was filled with rocks, vines, snakes, be it any other challenge, or even worse. Next door uncles coming up to you and asking, me, what is your 10th mark? What is your 12th mark? What college did you get placed in? Oh my God, they still make me sick. Overcoming all those challenges in school were a hassle. And let me enlighten you with one of the biggest challenges I've faced, the challenge of becoming a leader. I was elected as a leader for a quarter of my school, and it was an honor, but it was so much pressure. What I did was, even though I got a lot of disrespect, I proved them wrong. I got names like the captain who can't play, undeserved captain, or the captain who never shows up on time. I got all those names. I decided to prove them wrong. What I did was I was responsible for leading an entire pageant of March past, representing my quarter of the school I was leading. So what I did here was I took my pageant, I took them, trained them for 3 whole weeks so that they move elegantly, beautifully in the pageant. It was hard work. It was me screaming, Mate, march every day for 2 hours straight, yelling it so much that you can hear it from the 3rd floor. You can hear it from the terrace. I still remember my throat going sore but I still strived because I knew for a fact that accomplishing this would help me overcome all my fears. Accomplishing this would make me a better leader, and accomplishing this would make me someone I'd acknowledge. What I did was I trained my peasant so hard that when sports day came, they were marching down elegantly, just like this, marching down elegantly to victory. Looking at the guests, looking at my correspondent, looking at my principal, and finally looking at the flag. I was standing proud, holding my pole and holding my flag, pointing it towards the guests, knowing that I marched elegantly, I marched towards victory. And this was not a surprise, but we won. But a typical leader would say, we did this together, we strived, but I will take the opportunity to be selfish here and say, I shaped them, I made them this way. I was the one who changed this because I made a quarter of the school, which usually got fourth place and third place in everything, to at least get first place in their march past and second place overall. And I was proud of it. I was very proud of it. Now, coming back to college, when I start these experiences in my Toastmasters interview, the interviewer, who is Toastmaster Ram Sundar, if you might know, was impressed and decided let's make him an ex-com. Even though I became a treasurer, I was happy I could do a lot of stuff for Exaudio VIT. And now, even though I'm experiencing my fair share of challenges, I'm proud that I'm not only Harish Sri Prasad BTech VLSI, I'm not only Harish Sri Prasad treasurer of Exaudio VIT, but a leader by heart. I thrive interaction, I thrive leadership, and I'm still on the path of being the better myself. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
And our second speaker for today was Toastmaster Hari Prasad, and to evaluate his speech, we have Toastmaster Ashwini.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator, Toastmaster Sonal. So, not everyone are challenges, but today Toastmaster Hari Prasad proved he is a challenger who accepts all the failures and converts it into success by showing him he is the better version of himself. Kudos to you, Toastmaster Hari Prasad, on that. And once again, good morning, everyone. I enjoyed this speech thoroughly, but here are some of the pointers that stood out really well. First is how he organized his speech. He had a beautiful question to grab the audience attention right at the start. How many of you know this poem? And after getting that audience attention, he moved on to the stories where he had his beautiful transition. He started off with his school life, he started off with his college life, then he was speaking about his current life. So he had this beautiful transition. And coming to the third point, which I love the most, is how we showed the vocal varieties. When he said March, March, we can relate it and go back to our school life. And when he were asking some of the questions like, what is your 10th mark? What do you do for your job? And these are some of the questions that comes from our relatives. We were able to relate to it. Now, to improvise him for his upcoming speeches, I have some of these suggestions. The first thing is the eye contact. I can see that Hari Prasad have not keeping the eye contact for all the time. So whenever it is an online meeting, we have to focus on the camera so that the audience feel that we are connected to his speech. When we are deeply inside his speech and suddenly he moves his eyes to the side or to the upwards, then what happens is that it breaks the connection between the audience. So I would like to suggest him to focus the eye contact by looking into the camera. The second thing which I'd like to suggest him for a better version of his speech is that the body language. Body language and the speech should go hand in hand. So this comes with a lot of practice. When he was speaking about the March and March, or when he was speaking about by welcoming the speech, welcoming the people, so he was clapping his hands. I'm not sure why he was clapping his hands when he greeted everyone. So that was not apt to the current context. And also to improvise his body language, he can also use props to support his speech. Where he spoke about the pole which we use in March, he could have used some stakes to show that, and nor a flag to for that context. So this would help him to improve his body language. And the third thing is the point which was the evaluation from his previous speech, that is the repetition, the excessive repetition of phrases. So, but he in his current speech have improved it. He used this a phrase, that is experience matters, not the destination, only when he was completing his story, where it shows that only the experience matters. As a whole, he had a beautiful story organization, and he had beautiful vocal variety which related to everyone in the audience. To improve his speech, he could work on eye contact, body language, and the repetition of phrases. And if he could do that, he would be a better version of himself as a public speaker. Thank you, and over to you, Gender Evaluator.